I am going to describe codependency today from personal experience. And I went through a discussion, argument, fight with my husband this morning, which I'm going to talk about. And as a love and relationship coach, I don't want anyone to think that I or any other coach out there has a perfect marriage or perfect relationship. It doesn't exist. What does exist is a relationship where you know you can get through it stronger on the other side. And though it feels really bad, that's something that I know for sure, that when we get through this, today, tomorrow, the latest, we'll be better. We'll be better on the other side. So what happened was my husband felt a trigger and he came to me with a topic. I am so grateful to Dr. Phil, like 20 years ago, before I got married, actually, I watched the Dr. Phil show, and he said something to somebody about, that's the topic, what's the issue? And I started my marriage with that. So this has come up a lot. Like I recognize, that's the topic. What's the issue? Well, he came to me with a topic. And I have to preface too by saying I've done this to him many times. A trigger from an unconscious thing that's happening in my own body, I'm not aware of, that I project onto him. Well, this time he did it to me. And I already wasn't in a total Zen place. I skipped my morning routine, but I was cool. I was fine. I was ready to do it in a bit. But something wasn't right as far as he was concerned, and he came and he reprimanded me for it. And I blew. Now, had I done my own morning routine, I may not have. I may have handled it a bit differently. But I got triggered from his trigger. Now, I stood my ground. I stood my boundaries. This is not acceptable. And this is something that I coach my women on. I coach people, and a few good men, on how to set a boundary. If you feel like you've been attacked at any degree, even at like a 1% degree, you've been attacked verbally, emotionally, your integrity has been compromised, you've been disrespected, set a boundary. You need to defend yourself. You need to say, this is not acceptable. Like, what would you do to a whiny child? You would lovingly say, this is not okay. You don't get to speak to me that way. No, I am not going to allow you to throw that temper. Well, in marriages and relationships, tempers happen all the time. So whether you're in a relationship or you are working to attract an ideal relationship, it's going to happen. And relationships bring up triggers that we don't see with other people. So you've got to become aware and conscious. Now, I'm saying this, we haven't resolved this yet. I know we're going to. Like I said, it's not a concern for me because our marriage is where it is. And we've worked very hard on these things. I did set a boundary. Here's what I want to mention. The tendency inside of me, the codependent tendency inside of me, was to apologize before the lesson had been learned, before I let him know I'm still not happy with what happened. I still love you, but I'm not happy. The wounded side, which there is still some there, it doesn't matter actually how much work I do, I still feel like there's another trigger. Let me know if this is applicable to you as well. I'd love to hear your comments if you've gone through this. So the codependent side of me wanted to fix it. That's the people-pleasing side of me. Now, codependency is what you're uncomfortable with. Your comfort side is, I'll speak for me, my comfortable side is being in peace. Now, that doesn't mean that I tolerate disrespect. That's where my battle is, my inner battle. I will stand up for myself, but inside I feel horrible, even if I know I've been wronged. Yes? Am I the only one? No? Hope not. Now, the important thing is not to give in. Here I want to make a distinction. Are you giving in? If you do give in, are you giving in because you can't handle the discomfort of a conflict? Or are you, quote unquote, giving in because you reflected and actually you played a part in that? if that's the case, you're not giving in. You're actually becoming aware of it takes two. Now, I take full responsibility. My energy may have not been in the best of moods, or places like it has been in the past, but I recognize after stepping out and not needing to be right, just needing to understand. Got my journal, went to the car, because I needed some space. And I was like, where's the closest, fastest place for me to be outside of this energy, because I feel it all? I was like, I want to go to the car. I didn't want to go to the patio. I just needed to get out. And I wanted to figure it out. And my first thing I wrote in my journal is what just happened, and why did it cause such a reaction in my body? I didn't have to be right. I just needed to get to the truth. And I realized, I actually wanted to. It's okay. But that wouldn't have been in my truth. And I mean truth with a capital T. A capital T truth. Meaning my inner being truth, my spiritual truth, my divine truth doesn't need to tolerate any kind of disrespect from anyone. It doesn't need to tolerate me disrespecting anyone either. So that's where we need to check ourselves. Are we tolerating disrespecting others to build ourselves up, or are we tolerating being disrespected by others? This is one very small piece of the codependent umbrella, the codependent bubble, sphere, universe out there. There's so much codependency in, I would say, most relationships, because we are attracted to people that mirror our wounds. Maybe that's a big one for you. We're attracted to people who mirror our wounds. Now, the relationships that grow the best, grow the strongest and deepest, are the ones where you can see your triggers, see the triggers, and ask the questions. What is in this for me? What's the learning that I have in this? And talk it out with your partner, because you're mirroring each other's deepest wounds. This generally starts to happen a year and a half, 2 years after a relationship starts, when maybe the honeymoon phase is starting to wear off and the deeper stuff, the deeper love even, is starting to come up. You start seeing not flaws. It looks like flaws in the other person, but really what you're seeing is mirrored flaws within yourself that you can't handle. So you project it onto flaws in the other person. You were attracted to that before you noticed it 2 years earlier. You were attracted to it 2 years earlier. Just didn't know it yet. So that is one form of codependency. And I want you to just reflect. What are my triggers? That's what I'm doing now all the time, no matter what the trigger, no matter with who, because I'm committed to getting over it. I'm committed to overcoming it, I should say, transforming it. I just got triggered in my body. What can I do about it? What is this trying to say to me? Now, the question I ended was, what do I need to do today to have a good day? I went back in the house. Didn't work. I didn't listen to myself. I didn't listen to my truth with a capital T. I didn't say anything, but I stayed in that stuck energy. And then when my husband left, I got out sage and I smudged the whole house, including myself, because I said, I have this energy in me too. Now, our relationship is solid, okay? But there are so many people out there, the women and the men that I help, mostly women, that this is an unconscious thing. They attract the person that will mirror their unconscious wounding the most, but they're not available to see, explore, and transform their wounding. And you've got to say, what's my wounding? In this case, I got so triggered because my core wound is being made wrong. And so his core wound was triggered. I'm not going to go into it, but my core wound was then triggered by his trigger by being made wrong. And I didn't like it. So then the exploration for me is, I can't affect what other people do, say, think, feel to me and around me. What I can control is how I respond within my body, how I respond to that person, what I decide to take on and what I don't, how triggered I decide to get or not, that is my job. That is my responsibility in this case. In other cases, I have the responsibility to not say anything when I get triggered. That's something else that's come up. Oh, I'm triggered, bite my tongue. Because I know what's on the other side of this. So the more you go into your own healing, the more you understand that the partner you have, or the partner that you're most likely unconsciously attracting, is the person that will mirror your inner wounds the most, for good or for bad. And you can have an amazing life with this person if you're willing to go there, if you're willing to grow as a person and as a couple, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to get out of your pride and your ego and not need to project all the time onto others. And if you do, because we all do unconsciously, notice. I just projected myself. I just put that onto you, and it's not really you. It's me. This time I'm sorry, and I'm going to do what I need to do to heal that. So if you're a person that has not yet attracted your soulmate, what you need to do now is to go into deep self-love. You're going to hear me say this in many different ways a lot. Deep self-love. That means physical self-love, spiritual self-love, emotional self-love, verbal self-love. I was going through all the areas. Academic self-love, like you name it, you love yourself. And you, however you need, you get through it. You do what you need to do to feel great inside of your body, inside of your spirit. You are a spirit. You're in and of your spirit. And that will help you then stop identifying with your faults. Own them so you can detach from them, release them. And the more you release, the less codependent relationship you're going to attract. They'll still mirror any unconscious wounding, and it'll still look amazing at first until it doesn't. And then you start fighting because you haven't done your work. Then that's your opportunity to do your work. A fight, an argument, a trigger is your invitation to say, what is this? I still do it. Almost daily. What was that? What is that? Oh, here's an opportunity to overcome something else. And I have been with my husband for 17 years. Still, we each have our triggers. So with that, let me know what you got out of this video. Let me know if this was helpful for you and what your biggest takeaway was. So I'm going to send you so much love. Send a comment, subscribe to this channel. It's all about love, self-love, finding your soulmate, creating your soulmate relationship with the person you're with. It's all about your soulmate, and you're included in that.